Moving away from the desert races to Central Europe, welcome back to Imola, the birthplace of the new era of Formula 2. So this is where it all kicked off in 2005 when GP2 started as well. Imola, and what a place to come back to for the first time since 2006 for the third round of the championship. After this we go over to the end of May for Barcelona. Monaco a week later as well on the 29th of May is going to be very exciting. Further down, Baku, round 6 of the calendar in Azerbaijan. The British Grand Prix, round 7 of course at Silverstone. The 8th round of the championship takes us to Austria and Spielberg on the 10th of July. Budapest, round 9 before the summer break when we go to Spa, Zandvoort and Monza back to back for rounds 10, 11 and 12. Then round 13 of the season, the final race takes us to Abu Dhabi on the 20th of November. And it's time for Formula 2's sprint race here in Imola. Let's take a look around the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari circuit, Imola in Italy as well, a 3.050 and 19-turn circuit that's been on and off the calendar for years. It is a driver and fan favourite. Keep on the acceleration hard as you approach the start line to start the lap. Run down towards turn number 1. It's a little kink towards the left alongside the pit lane. You barely notice it before you head down for the first real braking spot, the Tamburello chicane. Down from 8th gear all the way 5th gear. Carry the speed to the apex. There's nasty sausage curves can kick you off as well. Flat out once again through turn 3. Now into turns 4, 5 and 6 as well. The Villeneuve chicane. Rising up the hill once again, 7th gear for the braking zone, 3rd gear into Tosa. A tight inside left that clambers you up the road towards one of the fastest corners in Formula 1. Turn 8 before turn 9 at the Pirotella. Flick the car in 5th gear, carry the exit speed as well before dropping downhill. Turns 12 and 13, Acqua Minerale, flat out between the two waters, rising uphill, careful not to invalidate the lap time before coming into the Vanitelli Alta. Very tight, turns 14 and 15, down all the way, 3rd gear corner, carry the speed, but you can easily run off track and lose your lap time. Now, begin to drop downhill, turn 16 takes you underneath the bridge as well. You're braking at the same time as you come into Ravazza, turn 17 and turn 18, the last point of call on the track, vastly accelerating now towards the line, 5th gear, 6th gear, 7th gear, open up the DRS, 8th gear as you cross the line to complete a lap here at Imola. It is a fast circuit and one of the best in the world.
Drugovic stuff, driving away from the field. He will see the checkered flag first to win for the 4th time in Formula 2.
I finished the race and they told me I went to the lead of the championship, which felt really nice.
What an awesome weekend. I couldn't ask for more. Thank you.
And so we kick off the F2 season once again. It's the 3rd weekend of the junior class and it kicks off the European season. Welcome to the birthplace of the junior category. In 2005 here in Imola, the GP2 season began for the first ever time. And for the first time since 2006, we are back at this 3.05 mile circuit as well for the sprint and feature race. Imola, Italy, the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari circuit, 34.4 metre elevation change around this 19-turn circuit with 3 minutes to go until the parade lap begins as well. We've just had the F1 sprint race as well. We've had the F3 sprint race this morning. Now it's time for the F2 to get underway as well. I'm Joshua Burton. Alongside me in the commentary box is Tom Dillon. And this is how we're going to look to line up on the grid then. A few cars actually still in the pit lane by the looks of it as well. So not great news for the AVRs as Cordial doesn't look to be racing at the moment as well, starting further back in the grid. This is why on the run towards the grid coming into Acqua Minerale, Has he dropped it coming at the top of the hill? Yes, he has. Big slide of oversteer, and it looks like a suspension has broken. And then big slide and into the wall for Amiru Cordial for the Van Amersfoort Racing. Means that they do not start with a broken rear suspension on the way to the grid before even the session began. That is disastrous news. They've tried to repair the suspension, but it's pulled out of shape, Tom. It doesn't look good enough at all.
No, and dropping it on the way to the grid it's like breaking your ankle walking out of the tunnel in a football ground. It's really not ideal at all, and well, he'll be kicking himself. And of course, being F2, he'll have to foot some of the repair bill as well, so I don't think he'll enjoy that one, and he certainly won't be having a nice meal tonight.
Here's the starting grid then. Logan Sargent on pole position with the reverse grid. He's alongside Marcus Armstrong on the first row. Johan Jaruvela and Theo Porcher take up row 2. Row 3 in 5th and 6th, Roy Nazani is alongside Dennis Heiger as well, looking to have a strong performance after a very strong 2 races. Then we get Ralph Boschong 7th on the 4th row alongside Jack Duran, the Australian for Virtuosi Racing. Awasa alongside Vips takes up row 5 in 9th and 10th as well. The high-tech are looking good. David Beckman returning to the championship alongside Felipe Drugovic as well in 11th and 12th. Clement Novalak alongside Liam Lawson. Lawson as well down in 15th, who has got pole position for tomorrow's main race. Frederick Vesti alongside Amir Cordial will not take part, so only that on the 14th row of the grid. Richard Verschoor alongside Enzo Fittipaldi, who has a grid penalty coming into the sprint race. And then it's Callum Williams alongside Jake Hughes as well on the 10th row of the grid. And the 11th row sees Ollie Caldwell alongside Marino Sato in 22nd position. And we're about to get underway then for the formation lap. And away they run actually down to... Away we go then, down towards turn number 1. And apparently when I pressed the button F, it decided to go to filler, not to the formation lap sign. So away they go then. Here's your championship standings. Felipe Drugovic leads on 45 points. Liam Lawson has 34. Richard Verschoor is on 32. Yuri Vips on 28. Theo Porcher, who won a race the feature last time out, is on 25. Jan Jaruvela the same amount of points. Armstrong 20 as well. Boschong 17. Hughes on 14. Awasa 10. Sargent 9. And then, it'd be easy to tell you the cars who haven't got points, actually. And that's Fittipaldi, Novalak, Vesti, Bullock, Bassi, Caldwell and Cordial. And Cordial not going to have any points either. Team standings, High-Tech lead on 48 points. 2 clear of MP Motorsport on 45. That's 3 points, but it's become 2 with the point for pole position with Logan Sargent yesterday. Let's hear from our pole sitter.
For me, it's just simply have a good start and crack on, and hopefully we have some solid pace and just hold the lead from there. The race pace has been super promising all year. I think the reason I haven't been there yet is just I've been putting myself in a bit of a recovery mode from making mistakes early in the weekend, and now we're starting at the front in this race, so we have a really good chance, and I just need to capitalize on it.
What do you think is going to be the trickiest part of the race? There are no pit stops, no tire strategy, and we saw quite an eventful F3 race this morning.
I'd say the DRS looked really powerful in F3 this morning, so I'd say it'll be quite key to get out of that DRS zone if you're in the lead. So pull open that 1 second gap, and then the starts are always tricky in these cars. So just have a good one of those, and that's about it.
They really are tricky to start, these cars as well. Do you remember all the problems we had back in 2018 when they got launched? Tom, the Formula 2 as well, the junior categories as well, quite often we see people from here drop up into Formula 1 or even into like endurance categories and so on. How quick do you reckon these guys are compared to the F1 drivers? As fast or need a bit of work at the moment?
Well, I think the nature of being in a junior category is that you still got a lot to learn. And I think some of the guys in their second year of Formula 2, you tend to find that in the first year, they're not particularly up to speed. But as they get into the second year, that's when they really start to be able to make the step up to F1, albeit perhaps not the most successfully, as we've seen with drivers like Mick Schumacher not doing particularly well in Formula 1. But, of course, after a couple of years, they are good drivers and they'll be able to pick it up quite nicely. We do see, however, some drivers drive stellar in Formula 2 and not quite make the jump to Formula 1 as successfully. Nicholas Latifi, probably the crowning example of that one.
I'd say hello to everyone listening on the Mixlr app as well, listening in here on USRN. We're getting ready then for the start procedure for the F2 sprint race. 25 laps ahead of us, 45 minutes plus 1 lap. Green flag at the back, all eyes to the lights, 3 of them, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out at Imola. Good start for the front row from Marcus Armstrong. It's a poor start from the pole sitter. Already from Logan Sargent. He's dropped back. It's taking the lead from Marcus Armstrong. And already here come the 2 Primers. Already round the outside as well. Dennis Halger nearly under pressure. Nearly got taken out as well. He's dropped back to 4th. His teammate Johan Jaruvela is side by side as well. As already we've got a yellow flag somewhere on the circuit. We'll keep an eye on where that is. It's in sector number 1. As they fly up now further back. I can't see any contact. There's a few cars going slow, one of them without a front wing. I presume that's David Beckman as he's dropped back. Still yellow at the moment as we head down towards Tosa for the first time. It's an okay start, and already the wideness of these Formula 2 cars, Tom, causing some issues.
And, well, I'm actually seeing on my
safety car.
On my live timing screen that we've got a safety car, so something's clearly happened further down the grid. Not a particularly great start for some of these drivers, and these are the starts that we were talking about, just where it's so difficult to get these cars started. They've not got very good clutches, and that's been plaguing this series for a while. And here is the incident. I appreciate this is a radio thing, so you can't see the incident. Yeah. It was David Beckman in the end, around I think that's just out of Tamburello, and he's spun it round and not able to get back going. Probably just lost some revs, not quite able to get the car back, and that's going to be bitterly disappointing. The solace he'll take is that, of course, this is only the sprint race, so the big points on offer tomorrow, thankfully. We're watching what happened. It was down into turn 1 and trying to look further back through the field, and he's just been tapped around, hasn't he?
By Clement Novalak, who's got a broken front wing, and of course these cars, it's such a pathetic spin, but it kicked the stall line. Yeah, nothing I could big do, and well, really, you made contact with him as well, but it was 3 into 1, doesn't go. So Novalak's got a broken front wing. Beckman is out of the race already, so 22 runners become 20 as the safety car is out. We've completed the first of 25 laps, and this Aston now getting a lot of running order. It was out in the F1 sprint race just a few moments ago. And many people say, well, it was a qualifying what we just had, but actually, in the F1, it was a proper sprint race that with points on offer, starting grid for the main race. That was a proper, finally, an F1 sprint. What did you think of it, Tom? I knew you were saying that you didn't like it in the FP2 session.
Rubbish. Yes. I didn't enjoy it at all. And I have to say, I completely agreed with what Martin Brundle put on Twitter afterwards. Martin Brundle said that he would trade a sprint race for a free practice session any day of the week, and I have to completely agree with him on that one.
I think I now know why he wasn't here this weekend. In many respects, it's because it was a sprint race. Let's take a look at the start once again. Do you want to take us through it, Tom?
So it was a terrible launch for Logan Sargent off the line in the Williams liveried car, the number 6. And, he just got bogged down, didn't quite get the start he was after, and it was a complete melee into turn 1. It was going to be Marcus Armstrong in the end, who managed to just break the later of the bunch, and they just had to file through. It's not a corner where you can go 2-3 wide, and that's what they found out at the back. On board on the TV pictures with Roy Nassani, who had an absolutely rocket start. He went through the gears absolutely superbly all the way up into second position as they headed down into the new Tamburello, and he was just edged out in the end by one of the Red Bull liveried cars, and it was in fact in the end 4th position for Roy Nassani, which is not ideal for him after what was such a rocket start. And we're now on board with one of the Virtuosi cars on the pictures.
Jack Doohan.
Jack Doohan. He didn't get a particularly great start, bogged down a little bit.
Oh, he nearly got the grass.
Just actually, he got pushed onto the curb. I'm watching, and he just sort of bogged down. Oh yeah, he got lifted into the air in the end.
Down at Tamburello, front end coming up on him, and he moved up. Actually, where is he now on the board? It's Callum Williams and Sato crossing the line now as well. Looking down, he's actually moved up to 11th position with all that lot, but that's the spinning around. I think he actually triggered it all to begin with, because it put Novalak in a position where he hit the side of Beckman. So that was all caused by the Jack Doohan launching into the air. Armstrong then is the leader after 3 laps now we're on, with Daruvla 2nd, Hauger 3rd, Nazani 4th, Sargent 5th, Boschong 6th, Drugovic 7th, as the John Deere truck takes away the side of the car there. And yeah, I do agree with what Martin Brundle said as well, but it shows why he's not here this weekend for the F1 sprint races. But I presume then he must miss Austria then as well, like and Sao Paulo maybe. But he doesn't like the F1 sprint races. Compared to last year, he was raving about something new and something exciting, saying how great they were. Just proves to you how much they must have paid the Sky lot just to say how great they were. It was terrible.
And, for the benefit of our listeners on the USRN, which I can't get the Mixler feed up, by the way, Josh, so I think
is it not working?
it might be worth...
Oh, here we go.
I don't think it's working, though, so it might be worth getting a look at that.
I'll have a look at that,
If you can hear us
Yes.
on the Mixler USRN feed, then we are currently on lap 3, I believe. Lap 2, actually. I take that back.
Yeah.
And no, it is lap 3.
It is
My
lap
live
3.
timing's
The
slightly
timing's
behind.
slightly behind, yeah.
And,
It's been a
it
weird
was-
old day. Go on.
yes, it weirdly, the live timing showed the safety car before the safety car came out on the broadcast.
Yes.
And now the live timing is behind the broadcast. I'm not too sure what's going on there.
Well,
But yes, lap
it's-
3 of this race. And I would suspect we'll get the safety car in probably not this lap, but
Next
the
one,
next
yeah.
lap after that. Of course, who was it that lost his front wing? Because he'll have to go back
Novalak.
into the pits and catch up. Yeah, Novalak. So he'll have to catch up to the rest of the field again, which will take a couple of laps. So if the safety car came out halfway through lap 1, that means we'll probably have another lap of safety car now.
Let's take a look at the start on board with Felipe Drugovic up to P7. Started 12th, great launch away. And then everyone else bogging down around him. I think that was quite a lucky start. Let's see what it's like down to Tamburello. Well, he's had to do a little bit of fighting. So far, he's in a straight line. Hasn't moved the steering wheel once. That was a perfect getaway. He didn't have to do a thing. Down to Tamburello. Nicely done, Felipe. That's,
Yeah, Drugovic going around the outside of about 3 cars there, really making most of the Constantino effect. He noticed that even though there's marbles on that wider line, he noticed that he could take the overspeed as everyone Constantino's up, and then actually through the hairpin, he
got
almost sends one around the outside, and
that was Boschong. Yeah.
Yeah, that was brave. Not quite to be in the end. But safety car is in this lap.
Yeah, here we go,
have just been told. So Drugovic up to 7th. Pretty good start for him. The order, of course, is Marcus Armstrong from Jehan Daruvla and from Dennis Hauger. And one thing on Daruvla, and, I don't know if you remember this, Josh. However, I've been trying to find the clip for at least 2 years now of Monza 2019, where he said, and I quote, "Please tell them to stop the race, because I have no DRS."
What? Please stop the race because I have no DRS.
Yes, I swear on my on my life that I heard that message from Jehan Daruvla,
What?
and it didn't get clipped, and no one has. It's lost to time. That is something that he said.
It may be lost to time, but I have every race recorded, so I will hunt that down for you, and I have it on a hard
Thank you very
drive.
much. Even Monza 2019, it must
Yeah.
have been Monza.
Must have been. I'll have a look. I'll
Formula
go back.
3.
Yeah, Formula 3 Monza 2019. I should take a look. I've got it on the hard drive. I've got everything.
Oh, amazing! We can find it and tick it
Yeah.
up eventually.
I've got everything on the hard drives as well.
I am sure it must have been Monza. It was a couple of years ago now, but the field Constantino up once again. Marcus Armstrong is going to lead us away
we
for
go.
the safety car restart.
So is he going to do what we saw this morning in the Formula 3 race and hold them to the line? No, he's gone early. Out of Ravazza has Armstrong, and he's got a good launch. 8 tenths already as they cross the line to Daruvla and Hauger as well. The two Premas running 2-3. Lap 5 then of 25 more. We're back racing for the F1, for the F2 sprint race as well as they come down into Tamburello, and the two Premas side by side as well. Hauger trying to go around the outside of Drugovic. Hasn't worked out. Daruvla hasn't worked out. And speaking of Drugovic, he was under pressure from Pourchaire further back in the picture screen. And it looks like he's just got... Yeah, Pourchaire thinks has now got ahead of him, actually, on that order, and according to that graphic. Side by side for the back, Yuri Vips taking Jake Hughes, going wide of the exit and onto the gravel as well. And Vips' weekend goes from bad to worse, as I think Novalak, who's now been saved by that safety car, is also now trying to have a go, as Armstrong leads the way at the moment. Clean restart, though, apart from Vips making that error.
Yep, and it was only a minor error from Vips. He's lost a couple of positions, and his tyres will be a little bit dirty, but he should be okay. Looking further through the field, Marcus Armstrong has absolutely rocketed away from this field. 1.3 seconds that gap was. He's purple in both sectors, which doesn't mean too much this time, but he is faster than everyone else in the field. We're on board with Liam Lawson as he heads down to the final corner. He's on the inside of Iwasa. And the Carlin car is going to try and send one. And, well, into the braking zone. He just manages to get the move done. I don't think there'll be much resistance there. Liam Lawson through quite nicely into 9th position.
Absolutely fantastic move up the inside there. Brilliantly done as well. And tell you what, you don't see many of them that often in Formula 2. As they come down now, a lot of blue smoke, so the engine bottoming him out as well. The oil spill beginning to come up as well as they enter lap 6 of 25 into Tamburello. Armstrong, 1.2 seconds now. He's got the gap as they head down towards Villeneuve. And my money might be on, actually. Armstrong running away with this.
Yep, and he's not got a great deal of time to mess up here. 25 laps already on lap 6. And, well, I think he'd back himself to be able to do that from this position. It's not often that you see someone running away in Formula 2. Usually we have these big DRS trains that basically span the entire field, but not today. The pole sitter, who thought he was going to have an easy run through today, Logan Sargent, is down in 5th. He can't do anything. We're on board right now on the broadcast with Jack Doohan in 11th position, trying to get himself up into the points, heading through the chicane, not quite able to make any moves just yet. I think he's going to have to wait for the benefit of DRS, which will be allowed on this lap. I think DRS will be enabled. And, well, that's where the real fun begins. We've seen in Formula 1 how powerful DRS is. Apparently, we saw it in F3 this morning.
Yep.
And, well, I think we're going to see just how overpowered it is today as well. Here we go, then. The number 3 car in the slipstream. Not quite able to do anything yet, of course. They won't get DRS down the main straight now. They'll have to wait for the next lap, even though the DRS, of course, is now enabled.
Now it does, yeah, as soon as the 7 laps get done as well. Apologies for little glitches we've been having as well on USON. We understand that this race is going to broadcast tomorrow before the sprint, so hello to everyone listening in the morning in America. Well done for getting up this early and listening to us on the repeat as well. And also on the YouTube stream, if you're watching us as well, apologies because McPhee has just launched up an ad and we all know how bad that is. There's the confirmation that DRS is enabled. We are go finally, as Tom just said a minute ago. And this is already beginning to feel, unfortunately, like the F1 sprint. Not much is happening out there at the moment. We've got a few cars still together, but they're too spread out. When they're in pit stop either, they can go right to the end. It's just going to be a nightmare. They're going to stay like this until there's an accident or another caution. They need to start racing with each other. Forget saving the tyres, just go for it. Give the fans some viewing.
There was a big kick of oversteer there from, I think that was Jack Doohan.
It was, yes.
He
yeah.
came out of the penultimate chicane, and I do need to read up my Miller Corner names. I'm not very good at them at all.
However, that was Valentini Alta.
Valentini Alta, there we go. And it's actually De Uvler who sets the fastest lap of the race. So perhaps he could do a bit of a Max Verstappen and stay in there until the final couple of laps of the race. Here we go then. Logan Sargent, I think that is, looks for a move in the number 6 car on Roy Nassani. Doesn't quite make it in the end. Nassani just holds onto it and they head down to the the second chicane, sorry.
Villeneuve.
And, Villeneuve, there you go, I'll note that down. And,
it's looking good, isn't it? I wonder when the Carlin's going to get past the dams here as well as they head up once again towards Piratella at turn 9. And Sargent's lap times are quick, bar this second sector. This is where he loses 0.2 of a second to Nazzani, and that's why he can't close up on him, even in the DRS zone. Through 10 and 11, the Acqua Minerale between the lakes as well here as they run up the hill towards the Variante Alta chicane as well. the fast chicane that has not changed at all in the entire run of Imola. One of only 3 corners not to change. That is the Variante Alta and Ravazza. They have not changed at all since their 1960 debut as well. As they switch back through. And 1.4 seconds, the gap between Armstrong and Jeruvala as well. So don't count Jeruvala out just yet. He has been very fast in the races so far this year. In the previous 2, I think he even had the fastest up at one point. In the he did in the first race of the season. Fastest lap. As now to the inside again. That Sargent can't get through Nizani, and it doesn't help actually, does it, Tom, with the livery as well? They're so similar, you can barely tell them apart. Oh, and
yes, certainly. And here is a move, actually, and I can't quite see who that is, but there is a move, and it has been made. That is Felipe Drugovich, and he's got through Teo Porcher, who really is in his first proper season in Formula 2, and in fact, there's a little bit of tussling down at the hairpin as well.
Boschong's got a problem. Boschong's going really slowly now as well, as they're all starting to pass him. He was ahead of that battle, so we're on board with Liam Lawson, directly behind Ralph Boschong. Let's just take a look. He dropped down 3 places there. That can't be a coincidence that he's not got an issue. Out of Aqua Minerale. Lawson's really bouncing that car around as well. Maybe the tyres are starting to go. Lap 9.25. He's on the medium compound as well. So we've got medium and super soft here this weekend. So they are the C3 and C5 tyres, but Formula 2 keep them to their original names. And this is what happened to Boschong. Looked like he had no gear. Great launch again from Drugovich, and Porcher just behind as well. So he got that move done on Porcher before he got through on Boschong. He went slow. And then I think Porcher got through a couple of seconds later. As now, look at this, the 2 Primas again having a battle. Druvala in the number 2 ahead of Hauger in the number 1. And Hauger really is on Boschong.
Oh, Boschong now really dropping down the order, down into 11th. 12th. And now 12th. He's really falling. He's like a sitting duck here, and he's falling far, far down the order. Really, clearly a problem for Ralph Boschong.
Yellow flags.
And, this could be it. He's falling further and further down the order as the Primas continue to scrap as they head up to Sector 2, and Boschong is now officially last. And I can tell you that I think this might at least be a virtual safety car.
It is.
If it
Great
is.
call.
Yeah, there
Great
we go.
call.
We've just called it. And, well, you can see on our screen now the stricken Ralph Boschong climbing out of the car, and clearly a power unit issue there that you so astutely spotted on the previous lap. And he's come out just after the chicane, hasn't he? He's got onto the grassy area, and well, he's looking at his car in absolute frustration, wondering what on earth went wrong. And that's a good deal of points that he's now going to miss out of. And well, I think he'll feel absolutely gutted at that. They've got the fire extinguishers out. I think they might be a little bit arbitrary. I don't think.
No, it's just
many fires.
Yeah, just heat haze at the moment. So I presume that's just a failure, probably of hydraulics to not shift the gearbox. He looked like he was stuck in gear quite a lot. But the virtual safety car, the VSC, has been deployed as we start lap 11 now. 15 laps to go in the sprint race here for Formula 2. To give you times for tomorrow, 7:45 British summertime for Formula 3's feature race, 9:15 for F2's feature race. Donington Park, British Touring Car Race 1, that is on 11:30. That'll be live. 12:20 for MotoGP from Portimao for live coverage as well. 1:15 for Formula 1's pre-race show, and then we take over with about 5 minutes to go live on a different computer, so there will be a standby screen for that as well, because the pre-race show has been doing it on a laptop, and then the main race is joining live then. The virtual safety car's coming in, by the way, so I'll hurry up. Touring Car Race 2 at 4:30, 5:20 for Race 3, and 8 and 6:30 tomorrow for the review. As we've filled the time nicely, virtual safety car is in. We are back to green flag running here for the sprint race at Imola. And Armstrong has lost all of the advantage he had to Jeruvala as well. And the gap was 1.2 seconds. It's now come down to less than a second. So that is a very bad restart from Armstrong and a great restart from Jeruvala.
And remember, of course, Formula 1 at 2 o'clock BST as well. unless I've completely
Thank you.
got that time.
You
wrong.
are
I'm pretty
bang on.
sure
You are
it's
bang
two.
on. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yes, there we go. As per usual. And, well, Armstrong now is going to have to collect his thoughts a little bit. That gap is now under a second. Of course, there'll be no in fact, it's virtual safety cars. There will be DRS this lap, won't there?
Yeah.
I believe. And,
it's
well,
open for
this might
Druvler.
be a little bit nasty for Armstrong. The DRS has been given to Deruvla. It's wide open as they head down into Tamburello. And Deruvla, 7 tenths of a second, 5 tenths of a second. He's not quite going to have the closing speed this time around, but he's certainly going to have to wait.
Oh, and again, look at this from the back. We've got Sargent trying to get ahead of Nazani once again after that restart. Sargent, who started on pole position, had a terrible getaway off the grid, is starting to close up at the front and starting to gain in. And sorry if your stream's a bit choppy there. It looks like on my end. Is it smooth on your end there, Tom?
My stream or the...
your side, actually, the Discord call. It looks like it's a bit choppy.
Yes, I think it might be. On my end, though, I believe. Nothing I can do to fix it, unfortunately. Just unpredictable internet. Hello to Ed, who says, "Hey, Josh and Tom, have you had a good day? I listened to Jack Nicholls and Jamie Chadwick doing BBC radio commentary of the sprint in the back of my dad's car. BBC radio commentary of F1 is incredible. Not as good as our radio commentary, however.
Yeah.
But, a weird flex, I got to interview Jack Nicholls on,
Did you?
last Tuesday. Yep.
How was that?
He races in GPVWC, and he came third.
So on the podium.
He did an interview at the end of the race.
How nice of Jack. That was great. It's always weird, isn't it, when you talk to them? It's like,
Yes.
oh, hello, yeah, you work for the BBC, you do Formula E and all that lot, yeah. Oh, that must be so weird as well. Did he come on with his usual voice of sounding like he's still commentating even though he's just talking to us? Because that's what we all do.
It was weird because he sounded completely different when not commentating. When,
2 seconds, we've got some
actually,
overtaking.
Yep, there we go.
They switched to the outside, actually. Nazani taking the inside line coming into Tamburello, and Sargent's on the outside line. He still couldn't get through, even with the DRS. Now towards Villeneuve chicane as well. He's looking to the inside. No, he can't get through. Tozer, maybe, as he comes back up, streams it through. Don't think he's going to make the move. No, one board with Dragovic as well. Not making the errors there.
Nothing quite like a Tom Dillon tangent to completely miss some action. Here we go. Felipe Dragovic almost sent it down the inside of Logan Sargent, who made a huge mistake at the hairpin. He just about got the car turned in the end, but he locked up a little bit, I think, and it was very, very treacherous for a second. We're looking at a replay to see what happened to the number 14 car. I don't know who that is.
Ollie Caldwell.
Down at the Caldwell. Down at again,
Aqua Minerale, and he's got passed by Yuri Vips.
Of course.
Yeah. And Vips has got through. So Vips up to 16th with that fastest up as well. But all eyes now. Oh, that's going to be a black and white flag for sure for Nazani. All 4 wheels off the track at the exit there. That's a big, big no-no. As
don't be pinged, so I don't think it'll be black and white flag yet.
Yeah. Don't panic, by the way. Do not panic. I promise you, do not panic.
And Josh is sorting out the coverage for us. There we go. You can see the stream again. And
just on and off, simple IT.
Yes.
And look at the gap now, 4 tenths between Armstrong and Druvler as well, so that's really close back down. Hello to Abby, says, yo man, I'm back, welcome. And is this F2? Yep, this is F2 sprint race. And hello to Synthel, who will be in the commentary box for the feature race tomorrow with us as well, who is in the F3 sprint this morning. I thought I'd better give Synthel a bit of a rest as well. And I know, Tom, you wanted to do one as well. And I've been wanting to do a commentary since the pre-season testing. So trying to get you on as much as possible. As Abby also says as well, as we've got some action, I'm going to keep you keep your eye on that while I keep my eye on this. Abby says, you know what's funny, mate? We all grew up thinking there was only F1. I'm in my 20s. I just found out about F2. Welcome to Formula 2. This is the birthplace of it, as Vips ran the outside of Sato into Tamburello.
Yep, and just proving how effective the DRS can be around this circuit, particularly in these lower downforce cars, because they're still downforce-based cars, but they're a lot lower downforce compared to the Formula 1 cars. This could be the making of a move, actually, for Jehan Deruvla as they head through the final corner. And it feels so wrong to see a Red Bull livery Prima car, especially around a circuit as historic as Imola. But he's going to have the DRS once again, 6 tenths of a second. That should be enough to make a move. Armstrong is going to have to go very, very defensive here. And Jehan Deruvla is going to try all his might to make a move down into Tamburello. Let's see if he can do it. I don't think he can. He's
far.
just a little bit too far back, and I don't think they've got a great deal of downforce taken off that Primo car.
This is really as back as well as it comes through. Mega job, said Armstrong. Great job in Sector 3 already. So that was another nice run as they come through. Your stream keeps going funny, so don't panic again. As we'll just switch it on and off again. Keep it all.
I can live with it. I'm used to commentating over pixelated things. Thanks to R-Factor 2.
Yes, the chat's come alive actually because Synthel says he's just finished. He's just finished eating, so perfect timing that he's not commentating on this one as well, and he'll be there for tomorrow. And he says what an F1 sprint as well. And Josh says who let Ant in the commentary box as well. See, everybody's saying it's Ant.
I think you started this pandemic of
I did.
likening me to Anthony Davidson.
I did. Well, you've got a very similar voice as well, and I can't wait. We should get both of you in the commentary box. When Ant's not doing a Sky race, we should drag you both on a practice commentary. That would be murder for my ears, though. I wouldn't know who will be talking. My brain would go like into meltdown as well. But definitely, I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to get Anthony Davidson's phone number and I'm going to talk to him.
Well, the issue is, there's one clear difference between me and Anthony Davidson. One is an incredibly talented racing driver, and the other one's Anthony Davidson. But,
I thought you were going to say that. I was like, is he? I thought, yeah, of course he is. That is true as well. Anthony Davidson, who never won anything in Formula 1. Compared to yourself, Tom, who has won in 2010 on the F1 game, as we established.
In the F1 game. Well, no, I finished 17th, but
oh well,
anyway.
it was a victory nonetheless.
Victory nonetheless.
We were on about that this morning in FP2.
We'll ignore his multiple WEC championships. That's not important. Anyway,
not at all important.
Let's continue on in this race as Armstrong still leads from Deruvla, only by 7/10 of a second though. However, that gap is proving to be quite sizable as they head through this race. Deruvla doesn't seem to quite have the straight line speed to accelerate past Armstrong, and Armstrong holding for quite strong right now. Someone who'll be very, very disappointed, we've been touching on this throughout the race, is Logan Sargent, who's still stuck behind Roy Nassani. He'll feel like he at least deserves a podium here, but right now the two Prema cars and Armstrong all feel like, they've got the jump on the rest of the field. It is a huge gap from Dennis Hauger all the way down to Roy Nassani. It's 7.7 seconds, if I'm reading that correctly, from Nassani to Armstrong. 5 seconds the gap between him and Hauger.
Yep, that is completely correct. And
as we head towards the back end of this race,
it's going to be look at dark clouds.
Hugely interesting finale.
Dark clouds around the back half of Ravazza. Now there is rain predicted for this end of the race, but we're scheduled to miss it because tomorrow is due to be absolutely soaking wet for nearly every session. It's predicting now as well. Abby says, I need to learn about Formula 2 to be honest, and I would say F2 World Championships are very competitive, more competitive than F1. In fact, because whoever wins might have a chance to get into F1. That would be nice if it was true, but but sadly, Formula 2 winners don't get to go to F1 straightforward. No. They often have to do somewhere else.
The issue I find with F2 is it's a minority of the grid, it seems. Sometimes as Vesti almost launches a move down into the hairpin once again on Jack Doohan, who's a little bit too far back there. But the issue with F2 is that you get a lot of drivers that are purely there for their budget and not actually there for their on merit. And it's there's been scandals like in 2018, I think it was, where some of the cars were found to have 40% less power or something stupid like that, and you had one of the drivers crying over that, literally crying over the radio that his car had no power, and it was a bit of a conspiracy in the end. And unfortunately, it's a championship that has a lot of improving to do. As Vesti all crossed up there on the oversteer, heading through the Variante Alta. And Jack Doohan will be smiling a little bit, despite Vesti being 1/10 faster in Sector 2.
Abby says, I know I'm saying it might increase their chances, to be honest. Yeah, well, to be fair, it would. Mick Schumacher gone up there as well. In fact, quite a lot of the F1 grid now is from F2 and F3 over the years. So it is a good stepping stone, but quite a lot of the names get forgotten, which is why we always try and say who they are, because they end up in WEC.
And the issue is, it's either WEC or Formula E usually.
Yeah.
And the issue is, it's the stupid rule that if you win Formula 2, you can't race in Formula 2 again, which works in lower categories where it's easy to get a seat in Formula 2. But if you win Formula 2, you're not guaranteed a Formula 1 seat. And sometimes you can have drivers like Nick De Vries, like Oscar Piastri, though Piastri, hopefully not so much, who just get swallowed up because they win a Formula 2 at the wrong time.
Yeah. And then there's no grid seat in F1, and then you have to go like Super Formula for a couple of years as well in Japan.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you get forgotten. If you go to Japan, you get forgotten. Look, it nearly happened to Van Dorn.
And it's a huge shame, and I think it's something that the FIA really needs to address, because I know it goes against the spirit of a junior category, but when there aren't enough Formula 1 seats to go around, you end up having talent that is merited and, you know, good enough for a Formula 1 seat just gets swallowed up, and it's not really just, in my opinion. This battle is still raging on between Vesti and Doohan, and Doohan still holding strong. Interestingly, the DRS isn't proving to be as powerful as I first anticipated. It's a little bit
weak.
It just seems that a lot of the drivers are running a little bit more downforce than you'd expect.
It was better in the F3 and the F1 sprint races. The F2 sprint race today hasn't really given it as much DRS power, and we have had a safety car and a virtual safety car, so this field should be pretty bunched up, as well as, again, doing under pressure from Vesti. But Vesti, it looks like the tyres have gone. Or it's literally like the tyres have gone. We've had F1 was 21 lap sprint, 100 kilometres. F2 is 25. Formula 3 this morning was 20. So they've all done round about the same distance. And the tyres just die after about 15 laps. It's unbelievable.
And if I'm not mistaken, then they're the same compounds of tyres.
Yes.
They might be differently shaped to fit the F2 cars, but they are the same compound. They're made of the same stuff.
Yep. And great.
Actually, here we go. Vesti's going to make the move now around the outside of Jack Doohan. And it's not quite going to be.
He's got the inside
He
line.
goes on the switchback though, and oh wow!
Brilliant move on the inside of the Pirotella, and Vesti takes 10th away from Doohan. And into Aqua Minerale, that was absolutely spectacular. Brave stuff as well from Vesti to sling it around the outside there. And honestly, move of the weekend. And there's been a couple across this series as well. Let's take another look at it.
That was an incredible move, and I'll do my best to describe it. And it was just down the inside, and well, it was so brave. He tried the outside, switched on the switchback, or the old switcheroo as David Croft calls it. And well, the move was already complete into Aqua Minerale. And I implore you, if you have time after the race, go and watch the highlights, because that was a move that deserves your viewing. And I can only do my best to describe it as we continue on lap 20 of 25 in this race.
We should be able to show the replays of things on the stream. I mean, I can get why we don't show the live racing, but the replays, there should be a method we should be able to show them. They should be free to air without any copyright issues, because that replay was fantastic. Because as soon as it's gone from live, it's back in the free to air. So it's strange how it works. But we should be able to show the replays on the stream. I'm gonna ask if we can, because look, here's a replay now of Dennis Hauger jumping over. He's got damage to his side pod vent. Look at that, in the side of the car.
He has, it's hanging off.
Wow.
Dennis Hauger, all of a sudden from third position, and the gap's falling down too. The gap from him to Roy Nassani is now only 3.8 seconds. Could Nassani sense an opportunity to try and get an unlikely podium here in Formula 2 around Imola?
That side pod cover.
It's not going to be too long before for Dennis Hauger, I apologise, gets a black and orange flag to come in and get that changed.
Black and orange flag has just gone out as soon as you said it. I just said Alex Jake said as well. So 5 laps to go. He's going to have to come in, because if that flicks off, it'll have to be a safety car, because it'll be shattering everywhere. And of course, it punctures as well. So that is not great news at all. And it's the side pod, the left-hand side pod from where we look at it. So right-hand side on board. That has come off, and it's just flickering with the air. Look, he's taking off a visor strip. He doesn't know it's there. He doesn't know.
Just on driver's right, and the issue is we've got the halo now, so hitting someone in the head isn't a particular concern, but that could easily get stuck in someone's radiator or the air vents on the side of the car, and if that happens, all of a sudden you've got a very toasty engine. I don't think you want that when you're trying to finish a race. Looking at Drugovic, who is now trying to pressure pole sitter Logan Sargent, who really has had a torrid day today. We're hoping he can do better in the feature race, though. On the evidence of this, it's going to be a battle of pit stop strategy, really. Although it might be a deluge again for the feature race.
Oh, I hope so.
Formula 1.
Yeah, we were saying about it in Formula 2, didn't we?
Insane in Formula 2, yeah. And Live Drivers Championship, Drugovic would stay in the lead, I believe, with 3 more points. 48 points. Liam Lawson would be in second, and Deruvla would go up to third.
Sliding off the road. And that was Dennis Halgarth, I believe, for the back. Just double checking on my stats there. It is the 17. So it's actually Owen Awasa who's gone wide in the dams. So many Red Bull liveried cars. There's 4 of them in this field to try and keep an eye on. But swiping off the track there. Let's take another look at it. So coming into Accra, this is Van to the Alta, hits the curb, loses the front airstream and just goes straight off the track as well. Nothing at all that could be done. And now we ride with Felipe Drugovic as well, holding down the advantage once again. He's running in 6th position, I should say, chasing down Logan Sargent. It's lap 22 of 25. We've completed 21 laps. I would choose Ferrari as my driver academy if I was an F1 driver as well. And I absolutely said. You said anything about the weather forecast for tomorrow? We just finished it, Synthil, actually, me and Tom. We just talked about the weather for yesterday, for tomorrow, about how it is due to deluge all day now. And according to, according to yourself, Synthil, actually, it's updated to rain earlier during F3 and F2 as well, as Tom said as well. So tomorrow, pack your red flag klaxons because we might need them a lot. So everything bar MotoGP could be in flux.
Yes, I apologise. I've quickly got to dash to shut my door a second. My dog.
Off you go. Off you go. No
my
worries.
dog managed to.
Yeah, your dog. Oh, dogs. Oh, don't. I know
Made
exactly.
a cameo. Open the door somehow. So I've got to go and close that now.
Off you go. No worries. As Tom will just go shut his door in the commentary box he's in as he comes through. As it's getting darker outside of the track now as well as they rise back up the hill. On board with Felipe Drugovic as well, keeping on the accelerator down towards Tamburello. Can he find the way through on the inside line? Now he's going to pull to the outside line of a Carling. Oh, he just can't get through again as well. Late on the brakes, and Logan Sargent, whose day can't get any worse, might just get worse if he gets overtaken here.
And that was almost a good move from Felipe Drugovic, championship leader, and will be extending his lead if it stays as it is. 3 laps to go now, or 2.5 really around this circuit. And Logan Sargent is really under the cosh here. And what a terrible, terrible day it has been for that young man. And he said, he's part of the Williams Driver Academy, of course, he said, if I could get a good start, I can win the race. He didn't get a good start. And, well, it looks like he's not going to win the race at all. Here is where, well, I say here is, you can't see it. Liam Lawson we're looking at. And
I do that so often.
Trying to pressure his teammate.
What we could do is,
his teammate.
Well,
it's not his teammate. Sorry, they're in the same livery car.
Yes,
I apologise. It's been a couple of races since I've watched Formula 2. Really confusing me. We're back on board with Felipe Drugovic, who's still trying to pressure Logan Sargent. And I think, well, I put my house on him making the move down this straight into Tamburello.
Yeah, here we go. Down out of the last corner. Fires it down now, as you say, towards Tamburello. DRS is going to be open as well. And unfortunately, he's going to be a sitting duck. Unfortunately, up the inside, round the outside actually, over the bump, and Sargent makes the move. No, Drugovic makes the move on Sargent. It's a long day for me as well. Drugovic up to 5th, Sargent down to 6th. He saw that coming a mile off.
And, well, that was never going to be close, I think, in a month of Sundays for Logan Sargent. And he's just going to have to lick his wounds, unfortunately. If he can stay with Drugovic, then he can make the move again on the next lap, which will be the final lap of the race as well. As for the lead, it's now up to 1.3 seconds. Marcus Armstrong has weathered many a storm this afternoon, and right now he is going faster. He matched Deruvla in the first sector, went faster than him in the second sector, and we'll have to see what happens in the third sector. However, I think this is Marcus Armstrong's race to win here. And if he throws it away at this stage, it would be bitterly disappointing. They head down to the final corner for the penultimate time. And then, of course, it will just be one more lap to navigate around this famous old circuit, as you mentioned, the birthplace of GP2. Then it turned into Formula 2 in 2017.
It's a fantastic championship as well. It's always nice to come home as well, and Imola really is the best place for a European season. I'm delighted that Formula 2 and Formula 3 came back. Now, we're seeing onto the last lap, the call. Helga is still out there with his iPod.
I don't think there was a black and orange flag. He didn't flash up on my timing screen.
Good.
I think it was. I think you must have heard Alex Jacks saying
did.
it, but I think Alex Jacks just said what I said, in that they'll have to black and orange flag him if it gets any worse.
So he's just avoided that penalty then, as we ride on board with Roy Nazani as well. He's in 4th position. Hopefully a better feature race tomorrow for them all as well. Compared to that, podiums could be on the line, and especially hopefully a better race tomorrow for Yuri Vips, who's 15th at the moment, and really shocking.
I apologise, Josh. Nazani looks like he's driving a boat on the final lap of these race. Those tyres are really not working. Every time he's on a curb, he's having to catch oversteer down into the hairpin. He was all crossed up. He missed the apex by an absolute mile, and he's really, really struggling. It doesn't look like a nice experience in that race car. They rise, though, through the Variante Alta for the final time is Marcus Armstrong, and it looks like he has weathered the attacks of Jehan Daruvula and is going to win this sprint race.
Can't believe we're going to have, this is our 5th race of the season in 3 rounds, and it's going to be our 5th different winner. Another different winner. High Tech take victory. Marcus Armstrong wins round 3, race 1 for the Imola GP. A fantastic sprint race here with Armstrong, Daruvula and Halga, the top 3. Nazani 4th, Dragovic is 5th, Sargent is 6th, Porcher 7th, Lawson 8th, Awasa 9th, and Vesti completes the top 10 and rounds out the points paying positions. But well done to Armstrong with another great charge. He took off from the start and just had it in hand completely.
Yeah, and well, that is pretty much par of the course in F2. If you get a good start, you can quite easily run away with the race. I say that, it's not often you see someone completely running away with it.
Yeah.
However, he didn't really look in doubt throughout that, and I believe we've got a radio.
I really don't know if you can hear me, but I'm happy on the drop.
I think he
said,
says,
I don't know if you can hear me. Did he have radio issues?
I think it must have, because we could barely hear him as well. And I think he said, I'm happy in the car right now. So if he had radio issues, he has done an amazing job to keep that car going without causing any problems.
I suppose in any race that you want to have radio issues, the one where all you have is to sprint to the line, I suppose that's the one to have it. It's a bit of a traffic jam here as they head down into Parc Ferme. And, well, some of the drivers eager to get out of this car, and I imagine have a lot of pizza this evening. As when in Rome, I suppose not in Rome.
Well, in Emilia.
San Marino, which is basically Italy.
Yeah, it's Emilia Romagna, isn't it? It's still in Italy. It's the Made in Italy race, so I suppose we can count it as that.
I suppose actually Imola's not technically in San Marino, is it?
No, it's let's hear from Haga first.
Nice one. Yeah, my rears were struggling quite a bit on the right side. But anyways, nice with the podium.
All I got from that was nice to have a podium. It was quite muffled.
And these Formula 2 radios are not particularly great, and well, compared to Formula 1, where they have crystal. I mean, Formula 1 radios are better than my microphone. They're zooming around at 200 miles an hour.
I know, it's unbelievable. Even mine, the headsets as well. It's like, just can we have a better quality broadcast software, please, as well? And to be fair, though, I would happily give up the headset for a lip mic any day. So,
oh, absolutely. I imagine it'd be.
Not that we could hear it from Djokovic. Go on.
No, as I imagine it'd be a bit of a nightmare if you're doing a 4-hour endurance stint having a lip microphone.
Yeah.
But,
I suppose we could swap every hour or so to headsets and that lot.
Yeah, I think I was listening to something, reading even on Twitter, something interesting from Will Buxton actually. He was talking about, because one of the big questions is fascinating to see all the Formula 1 cars lined up in Parc Ferme as the Formula 2 cars have to make way.
He's like a car, yeah, go on.
It's always, he was saying that typically you'd use a lip mic when you're on site. So, you know, if you're at a football match and you're on the gantry and you need to block out a lot of the crowd noise. Whereas a lot of the time for studio commentary, or I suppose garage commentary in our case,
Yes,
you'd you'd use the headset purely because you don't particularly need to block out any sound. So Marcus Armstrong hoists his arms into the air, very excited about that race, and he drove well. He can be happy with that one. Oh, the one thing that just frustrates me about Formula 2, because it's a junior series, I always find the celebrations are always quite mute. They don't really, it's not like Formula 1 where you have them jumping up into the air and, that's excited. It always seems quite mute.
I wish they would give him... Oh, there's his girlfriend. They'll give him a little tap on the head as well, coming through.
I think the biggest surprise here is that Jehan Darula's got a girlfriend.
That was actually the biggest surprise as well. Coming through as well. I'm just actually reminded of NBC days as well. David Hobbs, when Kimmy's girlfriend appeared on camera after his first win in Malaysia, and he said, what was it? If she plays a card race, she could be my girlfriend as well. And the entire production office, you could hear them just laughing their head off in the background of it as well, going through. Apparently we're still here, says Abby as well. Yeah, because we're going to hear from the top three now. Laura Winter is standing by to talk to the top three of Dennis Alger, Johan Jaruvela and Marcus Armstrong as well. But they're all still getting their helmets off and everything as well, so it could take a little bit of time. And Prema talking double podium for Prema on home ground as well. That's even better going forward. And that's Saturday done. Sunday coming up, and it's going to be a big day Sunday. With live action literally all day from 7:45 until 6:45. So that is a long race. What was that, 11 hours or so commentating? That's going to be a big
Fun.
nightmare. Yeah. Loads of different series as well, which is going to be confusing for me in the box and get everything sorted. I'll be running around like a headless chicken. Anyway, I'm going to be quiet because Miss Winter is talking. Down to you, Laura.
Well, Marcus, congratulations, winner of the sprint race here in Imola. Talk us through the move to take the lead and then how you held on to it.
Yeah, I think our start was actually quite average, and Logan alongside me didn't have the best of starts. I quickly covered Jehan, and from there on out, we knew that it was going to be quite a straightforward race. But I'm tired, man, because I know the TV cameras weren't following it. My radio wasn't working, so I had to watch the TV to sort of see where he was. Seriously, along this main straight, there's a nice big TV. Yeah, I had to keep an eye on him, and he was always reasonably close, so not as easy as it looked, for sure.
It was a brilliant battle between the two of you. More battling to come tomorrow. Valuable points picked up today, but of course tomorrow's the big one. What have you learned from today, apart from making sure that radio is working, to take in to the big race tomorrow?
Well, it was actually quite a peaceful race without the radio, believe it or not, so I enjoyed it. But tomorrow, I think that it's a completely different race. We're obviously starting P9. But man, I'm just going to enjoy this for a bit, and then, yeah, the work starts straight away.
We love that. Thank you very much. Well done to you today, Marcus Armstrong, winner of the F2 sprint race.
Is that all we're going to hear from? Nope. Okay, cool. 2 and 3 coming up. Let's hear from Johan Jaruvela.
Well, Jehan, second place for you, P2, and we've just heard from Marcus there how intense the battle was. He had to keep checking the big screen because he had no radio contact. He couldn't even hear where you were, but he was very wary of your presence. Talk us through that battle from how you saw it and standing here in P2.
Yeah, I think firstly I got off the line better than the guys in front, but because I had to avoid Logan, I lost some momentum and couldn't get Marcus. Yeah, but after that, the race wasn't easy for sure. I was trying to put him under a lot of pressure early on in the race, but yeah, it was really hard to follow, especially in the middle sector. So I had DRS, but I was never quite close enough to place an attack. So I tried to cool down and go again and give it a go at the end, but yeah, again, when I got close, I really struggled to follow. So yeah, all in all, I think we had great pace, but couldn't really use it much.
P8 starting for you tomorrow. You'll have Marcus just behind you as well. What's the strategy?
I don't know. I think we'll have to see a bit, analyze this race later today and see what's best for tomorrow.
Great stuff. Thank you. Well done today.
And finally, we'll hear from Dennis Alger. with Laura.
Dennis, P3 today. We obviously had the battle up front. You were just a few seconds behind that. How did you see the battle for this race play out?
Yeah, I think it was really hard to overtake, to be honest, especially into sector 3, but going out to the main straight. But yeah, otherwise I got a good start, and from then on, I think I was a bit too keen to go forward and started dropping a bit. But otherwise, I think a good step from the previous rounds, and hopefully we can keep this rhythm. And obviously now I start 5 tomorrow, so it's even a step further. So hopefully we can get a few good points there as well.
Yeah, plenty to play for tomorrow. And as you say, you've learned the lessons from today, knowing that you were too keen to overtake in part. What will you take from today into tomorrow?
I think it's really hard to get around here. Obviously, it's a very technical track. So it's just about being a bit patient, I think. Obviously, try to get this good start as possible like today. And then take it from there. Obviously, anything can happen, but it's just about remaining calm, I think. And we managed pretty well today, but hopefully we can get a few steps up tomorrow.
Great stuff. Thank you. Well done today. Good luck tomorrow. Thanks, Dennis.
So, Tom is still with me in the box. So, you were correct. He had no radio throughout that race, did Marcus Armstrong, and had to look at the big screens.
I find that fascinating, the fact he was looking at the big screen. That is, I mean, that shows adaptability, certainly. And
Do you want to take us through the race results as well? You do it better than I do.
Yes, well, at least there's no difficult name to pronounce here. Marcus Armstrong led the way despite fierce resistance from Jehan Deruvla, who finished in 2nd position. These are all provisional, of course, post-race penalties to Gom. Dennis Hauger in 3rd position for Kramer, not quite able to get alongside his teammate there. Roy Nassani finished 4th for Dams, though Dennis Hauger, with that issue, of course, was really falling into the clutches of the Israeli. Wasn't quite to be in the end. And oh dear, I'm going too slow for the TV screen. I'll head to my live timing instead. Don't you worry. Felipe Drugovic was in 5th position, championship leader. Logan Sargent in 6th. Teo Porcher in 7th. Liam Lawson in 8th. And then it was Iwasa in 9th. And then in 10th was Vesti. Jack Doohan was in 11th. From not Enzo, Fittipaldi regardless, but
it was Enzo Fittipaldi
in 30. Who Fittipaldi? Sorry,
it was Enzo Fittipaldi according to my timing screen.
Oh, fair enough. And then it's Rashaw in 13th, Williams from Vips, from Sato Caldwell, Hughes, Novalak, and then the retirements: Boshung, Beckman, and Cordell.
Never took the start, of course, for Paul Cordell, with having. Crashing on the exit of Piratella and into Aqua Minerari, as Dennis Hauger takes 3rd place on the podium as well. Johan Deruvala finishes in 2nd, a Prima 2-3, but it is High Tech who win, with Marcus Armstrong taking the victory in the sprint race. And we're going to hear the New Zealand national anthem. And this is, of course, the 2nd time we've heard this year because of Liam Lawson, who won last time out in Jeddah in the sprint race. So New Zealand win back-to-back sprint races. Not bad there, Tom.
No, and a very difficult thing to achieve, that's for certain.
We do have to talk over this.
Podium, actually. We've got New Zealand, India, and Denmark. In fact, that might be Norway. I'm not great with flags, I have to say.
Double checking how you go. Norway.
Norway, there we go. I got you right, kind of.
You were in the ballpark.
I was in the ballpark, and by my reckoning, that is 3 different continents on the podium.
Wow, you're right. Blimey, 3 different continents on the podium. That's amazing out there at the moment as the trophy's getting up. Go on.
That's probably the first time I've seen that, actually. 3 continents on a podium.
You get everything in Formula 2, don't you?
I know there's the argument to say that New Zealand and India are both Australasia, the same continent, but really they're 2 different continents.
They are 2 different continents, yeah.
Asia.
Just quickly as well, by the way, you're talking pre-Formula karting driver as well. I don't know official karting as backup driver. Oh, do you? Oh, wow, that's amazing. Coming through as well, Synthel says, I will talk to you tomorrow with the feeder series. By the way, do you think Perez has the pace to keep up with Leclerc tomorrow? I think that he does if he has a better run. And also, did I get frustrated with the TV direction of the sprint race? Yes, because nothing made any sense. Anyway, it's champagne time! And away they go. Yeah, that's right. You can actually spray the champagne. It is the afternoon. It's gone 5 o'clock. So then, Tom, what did you make of that race in Formula 2? I thought it was okay, but the features are always better.
It was interesting. The DRS not quite as effective as we anticipated. That's for certain. And, well, in fact, I quite like DRS not being as overpowered as we anticipated, because I don't like push to pass. It becomes sometimes... And, well, Armstrong had to fight for that victory. And fight he did. He fought very, very well, especially without the radio, having to look at a TV screen. And, well, other than that, I think Jehan Daruvala is looking very, very good indeed. I don't think he's ready for Formula 1. And to be honest, I probably don't rate him highly enough to make it to Formula 1. I don't think he'd do a job in Formula 1. But if he can pull back the gap in the championship and get a good finish, I think he'll definitely be in the running.
Yeah.
And hopefully none of these drivers get swallowed up into the pit of Formula E.
I think we all agree there. And with that note, we will say goodbye from today and give you a reminder that tomorrow you can join us at 7:45 in the morning for all the action for Formula 3. That's, of course, British summer time. 9:15 for Formula 2. 11:30 British Touring Car Race 1 of the season as well. 12:20 MotoGP. 1:15 Formula 1. Lights out at 2 o'clock for that one as well. It's going to be a cracker. Delayed coverage of Touring Car Race 2 from Donington. That's underway at 4:30, all being well. And hopefully all being well, live coverage of the final race of the day for touring cars at 5:20. And the Grand Prix review at 6:30 as well. My thanks to you, Tom. You can go and have some food now because it is 6 o'clock, so you've got to eat. Everyone's got to eat. Thanks for your company, and from
Thank you very much.
Go on then, give us a winner for tomorrow for F1.
Oh wow! I want Charles Leclerc to win. I want to see the Tifosi.
I'll agree. Charles Leclerc. All right, thanks for your company today, Tom. We'll see you all tomorrow for the big race day. The first time that MotoGP Touring Car and F1 are on the same day. It's going to be fantastic. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.